Hey there, everyone. Welcome. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, your host for the Night Sky this week for December 16th, 2024. Welcome. Great to see you all here. Love to see in the comments. Share where you're watching from. I love to see where all my stargazing friends, new and old, are with me. Hey, I hope you had a great week. Sorry I was off last week. I was under the weather, had a nasty stomach bug, and luckily I'm on the mend, doing better. Back here in the saddle again, and hey, there's a lot happening in the skies. A lot of chatter, of course, with the Geminid meteor shower. Did you get to see it? Did you see any shooting stars? It peaked over the weekend, Friday night into Saturday morning. Again, visible on Saturday, even some on Sunday. And I would venture to say even tonight you'll be able to see a few straggler Geminid meteors still falling. So if you got some clear skies, it's still worth going out and checking out that beautiful meteor shower. It's considered the best right now of all meteor showers. Very interesting. I actually came across a post. I don't have it right here handy, but I came across a post. I think it was from the Subaru telescope facility in on Mauna Kea in Hawaii, and they had opened up their shutter of a camera up on top of the mountain, and they saw in 1 hour, despite the moonlight. Right, we had a full moon this weekend. Despite that, they saw 150 shooting stars. 150 meters in 1 hour. So the rates that were predicted, they were there. Of course, you needed absolutely perfect conditions apparently to see that many. I know most people were in my area in North America were clouded out. That's for sure, unfortunately. But like I said, there's multiple chances of seeing, and while you may have missed the peak, there's still plenty of shooting stars to watch. Lots of wishes still to be made. So do go out. And in today's broadcast, we'll be talking about another meteor shower that's coming up. Not quite as big, but something worth going out, maybe bundling up and checking out for yourself. So let's dive right in. Again, share where you're watching from. I love to see while I boot up this planetarium program. Who do we got here? We've got Corin from London joining us. We've got the Creek Walker 01 from Hatfield, trying to see the Geminis, but it was too cold and the moon was out. Absolutely. That moon was quite blinding. And turning your back to the moon was imperative to be seeing some. Tom's here from New Hampshire. Welcome, Tom. Great to have you on board. Uh, we got nothing but clouds here in the UK, sadly, Corin says. Wow. Yeah, that's unfortunately, like I said, a lot of people did notice that. That it was, let me know that. In fact, I put up on Facebook, I don't know if you've gone there, but on my timeline, I have a little survey there, and I have asked on the survey, I have asked, well, did you get the chance to see it? And 70% right now says they haven't. And I think a lot of the comments are showing, indicating that it's the clouds. The clouds really were in the way for many folks around the northern hemisphere, at least. So why don't we dive in with the planetarium program, see what's up in the sky this week. So let's start off. Okay, so we've got the sky here set for about a half hour, 45 minutes after sunset. This is for Monday, December 16th, as we're broadcasting right now. So this is what you'll see. You'll see that brilliant Venus pinning down the southwest skies. Look at that. Look how bright that planet is. And if you think that's really neat, you probably notice looking at the same time towards the east or northeast, you'll see another bright planet, and that is Jupiter. You can see that there's actually two other planets, Uranus and Saturn, that are in between those two super bright planets as well. Uranus is you need binoculars for. Saturn is visible to the naked eye still, but much fainter than Venus or Jupiter. And just the four planets lie on what's called the ecliptic. This is kind of the highway or pathway of the planets. It represents their orbital pathway around the sun from our vantage point here on a neighboring planet, right? We're in the solar system. So our vantage point is quite different. you have to remember, if I actually go out and show you what it would look like from space, all these colored lines are the orbital pathways of the different planets. There's Venus. I'll zoom out. And if I can continue zooming out, you'll see this inner solar system. There you can see these are the pathways of the planets. But look, if I look at it from the edge on view, do you see that they're all kind of in the same orbital plane, right? They're the same orbital plane around the sun, meaning that if I line it up on edge like that, they look like they're traveling back and forth along this one line, right? If I go from view it from above the orbital plane, 90 degrees, you'll see that they look like concentric circles. Each of these circles, of course, represents the orbital path of a planet. So it's really neat. Depends on your perspective. And remember, here's Earth right there. You can see right there is Earth. And so we're part of this pathway, right? So you can see like on the edge view and above the plane of the solar system. So if we go back to our view, that line, imagine that line in the sky right there that runs across these planets. That's the ecliptic. That's that line that all the planets are lined up edge on view that we're getting because we're in the solar system, in the plane of the solar system. That's where we're sitting on our little planet. It really makes a big difference when you have that perspective. Once you understand that perspective, I find that makes a huge, huge difference in understanding. And it's kind of like a gee whiz moment going, now I understand why the planets seem to move in that part of the sky. And that's why you won't find them in the northern part of the sky. They're always between the east and the west that they're traveling through the southern sky. That's where you'll see all the planets. So this is again the lineup of all the planets. And by the way, just before I move on, I gotta touch onto this drone hysteria that's going on south of the border from where I am. It's really amazing to see all these footages that are coming online, at least the things that I'm seeing that are coming up on my timeline. A lot of them are explainable as not just planes. Yeah, there may be a few drones in there, but I mean, with the FAA required blinking lights that these aircrafts have to have, but there's also footage of what is obviously stars. There's one from I think one of the state's governors posted a video thinking it was drones, but they were actually the stars of Orion constellation and neighboring bright stars. Obviously, these are people that aren't looking at the sky usually, and hey, that's okay. Maybe we're going to learn more, and people will be hooked on astronomy and stargazing and see the wonders of the universe. And Venus again is another planet that I saw out of focus on some of this footage, and they say it's an orb. It's really, yeah, it's an orb in space. It's called a planet, and it's Venus or it's Jupiter. Those are just examples of things that are going on, and with this drone footage, that's my take at least, and I'll be interested to see it kind of die away, and hopefully, and we'll see. Maybe there'll be some drones in there somewhere. I don't know, but interesting times, that's for sure. So getting back to this is what the setup is right now. If we kind of go later into the evening, you can see that the moon is rising. Now we've passed the full moon, right? And this is the waning gibbous moon that we're seeing, and right there is the waning gibbous moon rising in the east late at night. Well, not that late. It's around 7, 8 o'clock. It'll be rising in the skies. And of course, as I mentioned, you can still see Geminid meteor showers, probably like maybe at most a dozen per hour, I would suspect that would be visible. Remember, turn your back to the moon if you want to see those shooting stars. But also what's really, really cool is where the moon is. It's rising in the constellation Gemini, the zodiacal constellation Gemini, the twins. And of course, the twins are known for the two brightest stars, Castor and Pollux. So check this out. So the moon is going to be parked right next to this pair of stars, creating this beautiful triangular formation. So the moon and the Gemini twin stars, absolutely beautiful. I can see Gopa is in New Jersey, the heart of the drone all the drone footage. Yeah, there, Gopa, nice to see you. Gina, Rainy, Connecticut, nice of you to join. And Teresa from Chicago is here. Paul from Guelph, Ontario. This is so nice to see everyone here. Tom from New Hampshire. Really nice to see all you guys. Thanks for joining me and spending a few moments of your time with me exploring the night sky. And so, again, this is for Monday night. So, tonight, as this live stream is going out, if you do have clear skies, look for that moon forming a beautiful triangular formation with the twin stars Castor and Pollux. And by the way, what's interesting is if we look at Castor, and Castor's interesting because we have the distance here for it, 50.9 light years away for Castor, and Pollux is, I think, 35 or 33.8, 33.8 and 50. So 33 and 50 light years away are these stars. That means that's how long these stars' light take to get here, to arrive. You're looking back in time, 33 years when you're seeing Pollux, and Castor is more than 50 light years away. You're looking back in time 50 years when looking at them. And by the way, the moon is at a distance, at an average distance of about 280,000 miles, or about 400,000 kilometers. It takes just over a second, 1.2, 1.3 seconds for the light to reach your eye from the moon. Isn't that neat? I think it's just a beautiful sight. And this will knock your socks off. It's just a gorgeous sight, easy to see with the naked eye. And if you have clear or partly clear skies, this is what is in store. And these stars, these two stars and the moon will ride together with the moon higher into the sky as the night progresses. I can zoom out and you can see here, we've got our friend Jupiter, the retinue of stars with from Orion and their friends. And look what else is there, pinning down the sky right underneath the triangle of the moon and the Gemini twins is orange reddish colored Mars, another planet to add to your nightly observing. Mars is going to be right underneath, but we're not finished yet, because if we take the next night, tomorrow night, Tuesday the 17th of December, look what happens. The moon now pops right next to Mars. It's going to be another beautiful sight, I think, very eye-catching, with that, especially that color contrast with the silvery color of the moon and the orange-red hue of Mars. It's going to be quite something. The pair will be in the constellation Cancer, the crab. That's where it'll be. And the best time to see it is probably after 9 p.m. So after 9 o'clock, when it starts rising higher into the sky, you'll get a better view of the pair. And don't worry if you have buildings or trees or something in the way in the east, just give it time, be patient, and the sky, this pair will rise higher. As you can see, this is around 9 o'clock tomorrow, Tuesday the 17th, and it just goes higher. By 11 o'clock, it's even higher in the east, the pair. Now, what else is very interesting, if you have binoculars or a small telescope, there is a deep sky object that you can also track down thanks to this beautiful eye-catching combo. Especially for novices who are not familiar with the sky as much, this is a great opportunity to find a deep sky object. And you may be asking, maybe if you're a novice, you're asking, what do I mean by deep sky? Deep sky means something beyond the solar system. So we're not talking about the sun, the moon, or planets, or asteroids, or comets. We're talking about something way beyond, like stars and star clusters, nebula, gas clouds. Those are called nebula, and also galaxies. So in this case, on Tuesday night, look at this. If we zoom in, you will see there's the moon, there's Mars in the constellation Cancer, the crab, and then there's this guy over here. This is the Beehive cluster. This is an absolutely beautiful gathering of bright diamond-like stars in a clustered all together, huddled together. Now, what does it look like through a telescope? This kind of shows you what you're going to be looking like at the Beehive cluster through a small telescope. Binoculars will also show off this beautiful clustering of diamond-like stars. It's absolutely gorgeous. And what's neat is that it's 610 light years away. It was first written about by the Greek poet Aratos, and he mentioned it as what he called it the little mist in the year 2060 BC. Isn't that amazing? 260 BC, somebody actually saw this, and you can see it. Especially he had no light pollution. It would have been much easier. The moon wasn't probably where it is right now. And just remember, because of that moon, you're going to have to cut through that lunar glare to spot this beehive cluster. But, however, get this, guys. If you're new to observing the sky, right, what I've just shown you is going to help you find it even when the moon is gone. So let's say we're talking on Wednesday, the 18th, boom, the moon now is underneath. This is on Wednesday night. See, the moon has moved away. By Thursday, it's even farther away, right? But that's okay, because what you're looking at Tuesday, if you spot the moon and Mars, there's that orange mark, just look with binoculars and telescopes. Just scan the sky just underneath Mars. Mars is very easily seen as an orange star. It's the only orange reddish star in that part of the sky. And so you're going to be easily able to see this. And then just scan underneath it and you'll find the beehive cluster right underneath Mars. It's it's an absolutely gorgeous sight. And if I just take a look at how far away it is, just give me the angular separation from Mars. So it's just over 3 degrees away from Mars underneath. How much is that? Well, that's maybe if you take your 3 fingers and you take your 3 middle fingers like that, hold it at arm's length, and let me just widen my view here for you. If you just take it at arm's length, it's like that, right? Like that. And the width of your 3 fingers are about 3 degrees, just approximately we're talking about. And so you put the Mars just above your top finger here, and the cluster should be just underneath there. It's as easy as that. Now, I know everyone's arms are different lengths and fingers are different, but it's a general way of measurement that works, really does work, and gives you a good guidepost in finding the spot in the sky to look for this object. It's really easy. Uh, Highly recommend it. We've got Amina joining us. Janine is joining us from Illinois. Wonderful. Nicola is here as well. Caroline is here. Very cool. So guys, this is a great activity if you're new to the sky or you're learning your way around it, is using these very bright objects in the sky as guideposts for finding much fainter things and things that are farther away. So check out the Beehive cluster over 600 light years away, meaning when you're looking at the Beehive, just think of that. You're looking at this cluster, you're looking back in time 600 years. That's how long the light has traveled for to reach your eye. Those photons of light are 600 years old from these stars. You're traveling in time when you're looking up at the sky. It's that cool. I love it. Never gets tired of it. I do not get tired of this. So here we go. So we've got, let me widen the view. So this is Tuesday night, right? Let me just put it a little earlier. That's at 11. Let's put it at, let's put it at 10. And then by Wednesday, check this out. Wednesday, so this is Tuesday. Oh, before I go, I forgot one more thing. You've got this. Yes. So before, little interesting trivia. The moon and Mars, you can see here, the two together, right? This is on Tuesday night. By the way, interesting trivia is that they're the two closest large celestial objects to the Earth. They're the two closest large celestial. So that means like the moon, which is just over 1 light second away, and Mars, which is about 5 light minutes away. I thought that was a very, very cool little tidbit. I picked that up from Sky and Telescope today. I saw that written up and I said, that's really neat. And I think that is something I think that lets you appreciate what you're looking at, those points of light and the little silvery orb of the moon together. Just think of that. Those two objects, vastly different, right? Mars is about 1/3 the size of Earth, and the moon is 1/6 the size of Earth. So big difference, two different objects, and they're the two closest major celestial objects to our planet right now. So that's kind of neat. And if we jump to Jupiter, Jupiter is going to be high in the sky in the southeast, above our friend, the constellation Orion, very near the zenith, almost straight overhead for those of us in mid-northern latitudes. And what's neat about Jupiter, which is just above the club, the head of Orion, is if we zoom in on Jupiter, one of the cool things is looking at those moons of Jupiter, right? So here are the moons of Jupiter. And what's neat is that on Tuesday, the Jupiter's moon Io will be crossing the face of Jupiter. So if I can go in here and zoom in and center it, let's see if I can center this. Just give me a second. Center Jupiter. And if we kind of look at this, let me see if I can do that. Oops. And wrong date. There we go. Tuesday. And let me see. Whoops. So what it says that around 7 o'clock at night, Eastern time, the moon Io will move in front of Jupiter. And this I thought was very, very interesting. Let me see if I can get that. Well, there's Io. Let's see if I can get it. For some reason, it's not. There we go. So there. So you can see if I zoom in a little bit more, there's Io, and it'll have a shadow too. And if I just keep going to 8 o'clock, you see like there's 8:18, there's 7. So it's 7:05 actually. If I just zoom in, this is what you would see. And the best way to see this is through a small telescope. You don't need a big telescope for this. Again, this is Tuesday night. You can see if you look at the bottom underneath the planet, you see what I'm playing with the time and date. So you can check that out yourself right there. But if we go to about 7, just after just at around 7, you can see Jupiter's moon Io begins its trek in front of Jupiter. This is what we're going to see through a small telescope. And you see the moon going in front of the planet. And as we keep going, after about 15 minutes later, guess what else you'll see? And this is super cool, is the shadow of the moon on the cloud tops of Jupiter. You can see the little dot there traveling right next to the moon. That is the moon's shadow. That moon Io's shadow is traveling in tandem with the moon itself as it's traversing in front of the planet. And you can see we're already an hour and a half into this and a little bit more. This is Tuesday night, tomorrow night, the 17th. And then around just after 9 o'clock, the moon goes off of the planet, and then so 15 minutes later, the shadow itself goes off. So this is something to see. I think it's really cool. If you've never seen a shadow moon transit in front of Jupiter, this is a great opportunity Tuesday night with a small telescope. Had to include that because I think that's really cool. So there we go. And let me zoom out. Ooh, out there we go. And what else is there? So then on Thursday, this is Wednesday. Let's just move to Wednesday night. Wednesday night, the moon will be below Mars, right? Tuesday was the encounter with Mars. And then Thursday, if we wait until later at night, after 10 or 11 o'clock at night, you'll see the moon pairing up with something else bright. This time it's a real bona fide star, not a planet. It's the lead star in the constellation Leo the Lion. It's called Regulus, and this star is about 78 light years away. And the pair is going to be beautiful together in the sky. Again, visible to the naked eye. This is something you don't need binoculars or telescopes for. You'll see the gibbous waning moon paired up with Regulus. Again, this is Thursday late night. The pair will be together. I think that's going to be neat. And then moving back on Thursday, mark this on your calendar as well. Thursday night, if you look at the Jupiter again, there's something cool that happens with Jupiter on Thursday night. A cool formation of the moons of Jupiter. So again, going back to Jupiter, but this time on Thursday, look at Jupiter on Thursday. There'll be a little triangular formation of three of its moons: Ganymede, Callisto, Europa. And this is something you can see with even a good pair of binoculars. If you hold them steady or put them on a tripod, just make sure you don't shake because that ruins the view. It'll be very hard to see if you shake, but if you have a steady enough view with binoculars, you'll see this. And it's really cool to see that triangular formation of these three moons. And then, of course, Io is all by itself on the other side. And by the way, a little trivia, Io is the most volcanic body in the entire solar system. There's over 400 active volcanoes brewing on this little tiny moon that orbits Jupiter. And you can see it. It's right there. And it'll be all by its lonesome on Thursday night. And you'll see the other three main moons forming this really neat triangular shape. So mark that down on your calendar. So that's anytime on Thursday night, uh, the 19th of December. And what else is there? I'm telling you, this week is busy. Then we've got Friday, again, Friday into Friday. You've still got the moon in Leo. There's just under the belly of the lion. There's the moon, and there's Regulus, who was there on Thursday night. And then finally, to end the week, Saturday night into Sunday morning is another opportunity to do some meteor watching. And this time it's a small shower called the Ursids. The Ursids peak around December 22nd, and the peak rates are no more than about 10 shooting stars per hour. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still pretty cool. It's just during the holiday. So Sunday, if you're up Saturday night or into peaking officially in the early Sunday morning hours, is the Ursids. It gets its name, of course, from, if you're guessing, from the Ursa the bear, except it's the little bear, it's Ursa Minor constellation that it comes. And of course, the claim to fame for Ursa Minor is the tip of the tail of the little bear is marked by Polaris, or you may know it as the North Star. So the North Star is of course, pinning down the north. The entire sky revolves around the North Star, and it's very close to the North Star where the radiant of the shower, the Ursids, are. So the Ursids appear to radiate out from the individual shooting stars, as you can see in this animation, from that spot in the sky that's occupied by Ursa Minor, the little bear. And so it's kind of neat if you trace back the individual shooting stars. If you just trace their line back, they all kind of coalesce around this one spot, the little bear in the sky. And so it's hey, I think it's really, really cool. Check that out. Oh, and there's a question about Skip is saying, I think he recommends Stellarium. Sure. Yes, the Stellarium is great online. It's a free software. You can use it. The web version is really, really good. I'm using Sky Safari. A big shout out to my friends at Simulation Curriculum for this wonderful software. Sky Safari is what I use too, but there's a lot out there to map, sky maps that you can use, and they're all fairly good. All of them are nice. Can't go wrong. But this is what's in store at the end of the week, guys. We've got this beautiful shower that's going to be coming our way, Ursids. It's a great way to end the year. There's more coming in the new year. Definitely more. I'll try to be back during the holidays. I'm not sure if it'll be on the Monday, but I'll keep an eye out on my timeline. I'm going to be posting all these sky charts for you. So do keep watch. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Don't wait. I'd love to have you as part of my stargazing community. We're a worldwide community. I think we're over 72,000 strong already and growing. every day, and it's a safe, open environment for true beginner sky watchers. I'm here to help you navigate the sky, help you find some really cool things that maybe you'd like to share with your kids, or maybe you just want to do that and have contemplate the night sky and just ponder in awe and wonder of how beautiful our universe is. It truly is. It's a free activity. You don't need to buy expensive equipment to do this. I'm here to guide you, and I'd love for you to show your support by subscribing to my channel, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, on X. It would mean a lot to have your support. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss my next sky chart that I would post about all of these things that we talked about today. So with that, I hope you have a great week. If I don't see you until the new year or later, wish you happy holidays and hope you have some great parties and great family activities with friends and family. It's this time of the year. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. I really appreciate it. Wow, there's always stuff in the sky. There's a lot more coming, so stay tuned. I wish all of you, until the next video, of course, clear skies. Bye-bye.